Have you ever found yourself in a situation that was stressful, maybe a discussion that escalates to an argument, and you wind up saying things or even doing things that you look back on later and ask yourself, what was I thinking? Why would I say that? Why do we say and do stupid things when we're under high levels of pressure or stress? The simple answer is our own physiology. Yeah, it's the way we're designed so that we can kick into a fight or flight mode when necessary. Now, the physiology is simple in this. Well, it's not simple, but I'm going to simplify it. The physiology is when our stress levels hit a certain point, there's a physiological change in our brain that shuts off higher brain function and kicks us with some adrenaline so that we can either fight for our lives or run for our lives. And it turns off all the things it deems unnecessary. Now, the only problem with that is when we allow ourselves to experience that physiological change and there's not that actual physical threat in front of us, that's why we wind up saying things that are ridiculous and doing things sometimes that are ridiculous or that we regret later. We're in the midst of a massive transitional season right now, big disruption in our individual lives and in our businesses. Our As leaders, we're experiencing this. Now, the difficulty is that as that stress level over this thing rises, we don't want that physiological response. It happens all the time. We make dumb decisions, things that don't help us, and we look back and go, what were we thinking? Well, the truth is we weren't thinking. And so I want to just share with you what I think can help you. And that is one of the ways to re-engage your higher brain function in times of high stress is the simple act of asking yourself some questions. Right. Just simple questions that you begin to just ask yourself, begin to re-engage the higher brain function, and that will allow you to make wiser decisions, more rational decisions and behavior. So if you are experiencing these high levels of stress, and trust me, we all are, you want to be able to keep your head level and your thoughts clear, and you want to be able to make good decisions. So here are three questions that you can ask yourself in the time that we're in now, in this season of transition and disruption, and in any season of high stress. Here are three questions that you can ask yourself that will help you keep that physiological fight or flight mode from kicking in so that you can make good decisions and you can lead your people well. All right, here we go. Here's the first question. Just simply ask yourself, what am I willing to learn? There you are. What am I learning? What can I learn? What are the lessons here that I could benefit from? Yes, ask yourself that simple question. What is there for me to learn? What can I learn? If you ask that question and your brain begins to process it, it's going to settle you down. It's going to kick that higher brain function back in. And not to mention, it's just a valuable question for you to ask. Because here's what you need to understand. Every transition, every season of disruption has opportunities to learn, yes, to grow and improve so we can learn. And we don't want to go through this thing, get on the other side and go, what did you learn? I don't know. That's a waste of an opportunity. So ask yourself, what am I willing to learn? What can I learn? What lessons are being offered to me? And by the way, a lesson offered is not a lesson learned. Don't squander this opportunity. If you want to keep your head clear and be able to think straight and lead well, you need to avoid that physiological panic response that shuts off your higher brain function so that you don't get on the other side of this season, look back and go, what was I thinking? And the truth will be, you weren't. So you want to ask yourself some questions. And one question you need to ask is, what will I learn? Here's the second question that you need to ask yourself in the seasons of transition and disruption. Number 2, what am I willing to change? Yeah, that's an important question. Once we begin to learn some things and we begin to learn things about ourselves and we begin to learn things about our companies, our organizations, our product, our market, our team, now what are you willing to change? The inflexibility and the refusal to change is a guarantee that you're just going to get stuck. You're going to hunker down, try to wait it out, and that is not going to end well for any business or organization coming through the type of transition and disruption that we're facing right now. It's important that you be willing to make some changes. So you need to ask, what am I willing to change? Am I willing to change the way I think? Am I willing to change the way I spend? Am I willing to change the way we distribute? Am I willing to change the way we offer our product, how we market? Am I willing to make some changes? These questions keep your brain engaged and help you make some good decisions. Now, the purpose of asking the questions is to keep your brain engaged. What those questions are can also be very, very beneficial. What are you willing to learn? What are you willing to change? And if you aren't willing to change and you're inflexible, you're going to be stuck. And those who get stuck fade away and they don't make it through these seasons. And that would be a shame. So here's a third question that I think you can ask yourself, and the benefit of it being keeping your higher brain function on, and the answer can be really beneficial. So here's the third question. Who will you become? What do you look like as an individual, as a leader, as an organization on the other side of this transition and disruption? What do you look like? Who are you on the other side? Are you going to be bitter about the circumstances or the hand you were dealt, and you're going to be a blamer, a complainer, a whiner? Is that what you're going to be on the other side? Or are you going to be a leader in an organization who's better, leaner, maybe more effective, more productive, more clear on who you are and what you offer? You can be that. And based on what you're willing to learn and what you're willing to change, that's going to determine who you become on the other side of this disruption. So you can either be bitter or better. You can be a whiner or wiser. It's really up to you. I wanted to share this with you in hopes that you not fall prey to the fight or flight panic mode that shuts off your higher brain function, that physiological built-in survival mode. That is helpful if something is falling from the sky and you need to get out of the way, but it's not helpful if you're a leader in business or of an organization, company, or team, and you need to navigate through a challenging season. No, you want to keep from kicking into that fight or flight mode. You want to keep your higher brain function engaged. And you do that by asking yourself some simple questions. And I've suggested 3. And I think the questions themselves will help you think clearer, but answering them can really make this season more beneficial. Here they are one more time. What are you willing to learn? What are you willing to change? And who will we become on the other side of this experience? Hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.